Welcome back, everybody, to This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry, and I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a good week. I've had something of a week. It's been something. I'll tell you that much. But I'm happy you're here. Thank you so much for being here. You're here. We're here. I'm here. If you want more of this, too, you can go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast and support the show for as little as $1 a month. There is bonus content from the $5 and up tier every single week. On Mondays, there's a bonus episode. On Tuesdays, there's the pregame chats and early access to the podcast. It's uncut, unedited, unfiltered, with bonus content that is just for Patreon as well. You can also support the show from $1 and up. $1 a month gets you access to our Discord, and there's a whole bunch of other different tiers that are over there that you can use to support the show and get other different benefits and bonuses and things like that. And I appreciate everybody who supports the show at Patreon. You can follow the show as well at My Bourbon Pod on all social media. And thank you all. Oh, and leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app of choice. That fun stuff. It's good to be back. I've been sick this past week. I've not been sick in a while. I caught a baby disease, hand, foot, and mouth, which good stuff. Also fun to have gotten that while I was completely and totally alone. So I've been quarantined and isolated for the past few days and not seen anyone. I completely missed out on July 4th celebrations, any kind of festivities. So I sat on my front porch and drank and then celebrated this country by watching Captain America: Brave New World, which I'll talk about more during the pregame chats. Yes, that was a movie. Anyway, normally on This Is My Bourbon Podcast, we kick off episodes with a segment known as Flying Blind. And in years past, we would alternate with a segment known as Sips and Snacks. However, when the Whiskey Mutant left as co-host of the podcast, Sips and Snacks left with him. However, I do still love doing some pairings on the podcast, so I'm going to do a pairing here in a new segment called The Perfect Pair. Now, am I going to be eating something? No, I'm not. I'm going to leave that to the Whiskey Mutant because that is where he shines. I'm going to be drinking something because this is still a whiskey and bourbon and drinking podcast. So I'm going to be finally talking about what is one of my favorite pairings of bourbon and beer ever, which I've talked about before, but I've never somehow done this on the show. And I've actually never done it in this capacity before. I've done it with the standard offering, but I've never done it with the brand new age-stated Wild Turkey 101 8-year. And one of my favorite go-to beers, Miller High Life. Now, this is my bar drink, if they have it. It's crazy how many bars don't have Miller High Life. I'll tell you what's a good alternative for Miller High Life is Coors Banquet, just on the off chance that they don't have Miller High Life. But I am very excited to up the Turkey 101 game and do the 8-year for this pairing. I think it's going to be excellent. And we're going to crack this guy. Okay, well, that was a little less exciting than I wanted it to be. But, oh well. I've got a lot of beverages in front of me. I've got my Liquid Death sitting next to me as well. But But the typical way to, and I mean, there's many different names for this drink: bat in a ball, beer back, shot in a beer. I don't know, however you want to call it. But for me, I don't really have a good name for it. I just like bourbon and beer. I'm pretty simple when it comes to this kind of thing. But this was just kind of a random discovery. I don't even know really where I was. There's a bar in Lexington called Ona, O-N-A, that might have been the first place that I went to, and did this. But even still, it's, to me, one of the perfect pairings for bourbon and beer. And I want to keep doing this in the future. Again, that's why it's called Perfect Pair, or this segment is called Perfect Pair. So we'll start with the bourbon and then take a drink of the beer, of course. Lemony, nutty. Got that nice, like, black tea thing going as well. Citrusy. Just such a good, robust bourbon for the price, for what this is. I freaking love it. Not just, of course, Turkey 101, but Turkey 101 8-year. Just so thankful that this is on our market again. I'm so pleased with it. All right. I'll say cheers too, because it's Miller High Life, man. Champagne of beers. Miller High Life is also a little bit nutty as well, but it's just so crispy and refreshing. It's not like a light beer, of course, but it does have a more like light flavor profile to it, I would say, especially in its overall like buoyancy. It doesn't really feel like you're drinking anything that's gonna weigh you down. You can have a couple and still keep going. It's just a very enjoyable, affordable beer to have. And I think the pairing between these two, this is not, something I'm doing blind, of course. This is something that I've had before and something I wanted to bring to the table. Of course, I've talked about it plenty of times on the podcast, but to actually, drink on the show and talk about is different. Of course, I can actually, talk about tasting notes. I can talk about the balance between the two, and the proof point as well with Turkey 101, not being so out of this world, helps with the the lighter atmosphere that Miller High Life brings as well. I like to also kind of leave just a little bit of the turkey in my mouth, so when I take the sip of the Miller, you're kind of doing a bit of a Boilermaker as you're doing the tasting. But just such a great pairing. I think the turkey helps to bring out some more citrus too in the Miller. It also gives it more kind of gives it more of like what this would look like if it were a barrel-aged beer quality, which I think is fun. Just overall, I love this pairing, and I hope you try it too. Let me know if you like this, or if you've ever done it before. Like I said, I've talked about this on the podcast prior, so it's not like it's a new thing necessarily, but I like bringing it up when I can. Also, let me know, what are some of your favorite bourbon and beer pairings? I've got more in the tank that I want to do. One especially that I'll do when it gets closer to Oktoberfest time here in a couple months. Actually, not when it gets closer to, when it is Oktoberfest time. We'll talk about that. So I look forward to bringing that back up with a perfect pair. As far as what I've been drinking recently, I got to be honest. While I've been sick, not much. I had a little of the Turkey 101 8-year on 4th of July. My folks, my mom and dad, came by on July 4th and sat like at the opposite end of my porch and dropped off Miller High Life because I wasn't smart enough to get anything in the days prior. And also, you know, you can do things like DoorDash and get alcohol, but I didn't want to have to like go outside and talk to whoever the dasher would be with my ID and potentially expose them to my illness and, you know, get them sick too. So I was like, hey, could you guys bring me some beer? I felt bad, but appreciative as well. And they were very sweet to bring me some food too. So just a very strange July 4th overall. But yeah, I like during the course of me being sick too, like I just wasn't that hungry. Like I lost most of my appetite, and I also lost really any desire to like drink too. So for a few days I was just kind of like having maybe like a pour of turkey or a pour of, you know, some of these random rare characters that I've been given by Chade. But overall, I mean, I've really been drinking water for the most part. I think I might have like dropped a couple pounds too since I've been sick, or at least it feels like it. I feel like I look like it when I get up and get ready in the mornings. But yeah, it's been strange, man. But oh, what a time it's been over this past week. I'm just happy to be back. I'll say that much. And I'm also thankful that this happened, because like I said, baby disease, baby illness, because that's really what hand, foot, and mouth is. And I'm very thankful that my kids weren't here when I got it, so that especially like the 9-month-old didn't get it too, because that would have been miserable. But yeah. All right, folks, we got a review this week, and we're doing it for real because I goofed earlier. And I couldn't review what I was planning on reviewing, and Patreon understands why. If you want to hear that, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast, of course. But we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to move on. And we are going to be reviewing the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass Rye Whiskey that came out, or is coming out, as I suppose. This is 105.2 proof. It is around 6 years old. Has a mash bill of 63% rye, 20% corn, and 13% malt. Beck's Hybrid 6225 was the corn seed varietal chosen for the second edition and was grown by family-owned Peterson Farms on one of two sites in Nelson County, Kentucky. That would be in Bardstown, Kentucky. It's non-chill filtered and bottled at barrel proof, which is the 105.2, and it went into the barrel at 107. If you all are longtime listeners of the podcast and are familiar with how how we felt about last year's grained glass rye, we were massive fans of it, Eric and I. And that was I can't remember if it was exactly barrel strength or if it was just like a 120 proof or something like that. But it was certainly special. And look. The first one, it's right here. I picked it up immediately. It was 123.2 proof. So this had to have been barrel proof as well. We'll do a side by side tasting of this and the new edition. But if last year's grained glass is anything to go by, it's got a lot to live up to. I'll say that much. Certainly. So it's a sample bottle. It's not really a cork pop or anything. It's really more of a crack, I suppose. But thank you, of course, to Heaven Hill for sending this to me. Appreciate you all, as always. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is like $100 a bottle. Roughly. Yeah. Suggested retail price for a 700 ml bottle is $99.99. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in. Let's see what we got. And we'll move on from there. That is just a very solid Heaven Hill Rye Whiskey. I don't know anything else to say up top other than it smells really good. I'm not going to compare it just yet to the release from last year, but at the very least, it reminds me so much of Heaven Hill's other rye whiskey releases. Really specifically, not even... Okay, let me re-say that because, sorry, I also have a fruit fly in here that just really wants to be my friend. So if you were watching the video version and I'm flipping my hand around, it's because I'm not losing it. There's something I'm trying to get rid of. Anyway, it doesn't remind me so much so of like Pikesville as much as it does Elijah Craig rye, which I still maintain is a pretty solid rye. Despite what others might say. I said that like there's somebody in mind that doesn't like it. I don't think there is. I think it's pretty unanimous that it's a solid release. It's a little smoky too. I really kind of get this like barbecue sauce note. Yeah, I mean just solid, not like blowing me away, not throwing me for a loop or anything. Just good. Just a good rye whiskey nose. So let's see what's going on with the palate. Also, this is a Whiskey Ring podcast glass. If you're watching the video version, I kind of held it up right to the camera like I was trying to promote it or something. I wasn't, but huge shout out as always to David Levine, good friend of the podcast. So cheers, folks. All right. Okay. I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is special, but it certainly is an exceptionally solid. No, it's better than solid. It's very good rye whiskey. Wow. It doesn't feel like it needed to be anything higher proof than it already is. I think it's perfect at 105. Wow. Why am I like, I I can't stop smiling, which is very strange. I really, really, really like this. I'm having a good time with this rye. I'm not gonna lie. This is bringing a smile to my face that I was not anticipating. Jeez, man. It starts a little slow. It starts just a little bit soft. But by the middle of the palate, it really starts to explode and goes into this fruity, rye bread, citrusy, clovey whiskey that is so just, I don't know, bountiful in its in its flavor profile. I don't know a better way to describe it right now. But either way, I'm really, really enjoying this. And I know that, like, I said it was perfect, and I think that there is one aspect of it that's perfect. And that's, like, the mid palate, which doesn't make this, like, a perfect experience overall. Because it's not. I think the finish is a little lacking. The finish does go very malty, though. I like really, really malty, which is not a bad thing by any means. I think the finish being malty is pretty characteristic for a Heaven Hill product. I think malt forward is more something that you're definitely going to notice with a product like Elijah Craig Small Batch, definitely Elijah Craig Barrel Proof as well. But this was a welcome surprise. And a big reason for that as well is I was not overly impressed. And by that, I mean, I was just straight up not impressed with the bourbon release from Grain to Glass that came out a few months ago. Not even a few months ago. It came out like a month and a half ago, maybe. I don't think I did a full review on it. I think I did a stream on it where I talked about that, and I talked about the old Fitz that came out. And I was pleasantly surprised with the old Fitz. But the Grain to Glass bourbon was not doing it for me. Just not a pleasant release. And it's not to say that I was prepared to dislike this, but my hopes were not exactly soaring. I wanted this to, I wanted this to be really good, and it did that for me. So I'm excited. I'm excited about reviewing this at the very least. I'm looking forward to what my score is going to be. The nose has gotten better, too, the longer that it's sat here. It's not that it was bad in the first place, but it definitely needed a little bit of airtime, I think, before it fully presented itself. Here's my biggest problem with it, too. I don't love the finish, not because it goes astringent or anything. I just don't think that the finish offers a whole lot. Yeah, that finish is a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. I just wish that it had more to give. Truly. But regardless, I'm gonna review this. Patreon is gonna get the comparison between the 2025 release and the 2024. But in the meantime, though, let's go ahead and break this down for you, Tim Bip style. Stupidest thing I've said in a while. Nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5 with a final score out of 20. For the nose, I caught one of the fruit flies. Heck yeah. All right. Sorry. For the nose, just a straight up 3 out of 5. I think it's pretty well balanced. I think that if you're a Heaven Hill Rye fan, and you especially are looking for something that's going to be inviting into the field of like the maltiness as well, this is for you. I think that it goes a little bit thin on the nose. Could have maybe done better with a higher barrel entry proof to present more of not necessarily the grains, but more of the barrel itself. I think overall, really, that's my biggest complaint about this. There's not a whole lot of barrel influence present on this whiskey. But that's really more specific to me and my profile that I prefer with whiskeys. I like oakier. That being said, though, this is a 6-year whiskey. I'm not going to go too hard on it in that capacity. So 3 on the nose. Palate. I adore the palate on this. I really, truly do. That mid palate is so expressive and does so much to carry it. I know it might be doing a little bit too much in terms of like the front and back end. But that being said, though, I'm really enjoying it, and I think that I'm probably I'm probably a little bit biased, but regardless, it's a very, very strong 4, and I'm like fighting myself not to go for a 4.5, but I am going to go for a 4 on the palate here. Finish again. It's weak. It doesn't really develop anything. It doesn't accentuate anything on the palate. It just kind of like dissipates. And while there might be a little bit of the maltiness that is present on the palate, it just doesn't really give life further to the whiskey itself. I am unfortunately going to 1.5 on the finish. I would have loved for the finish to elevate the whiskey itself further, but not much else I can do about that. That's not my fault. So, $100. I think that what's interesting about grain to glass is this is still Heaven Hill's like biggest experiment that we're still not really sure what's going to happen with it. And I like that it is a celebration of local farmers. I like that it's a celebration of being very granular about the process, right? You are locked into how every minute detail crafts the whiskey itself. So I like that. I get that. But in and of itself, like, the question is, does that necessarily make for good whiskey? There is a collectability aspect that comes with $100. I don't think that that's necessarily, breaking the bank. This is still 6-year-old rye whiskey. You can find some, even like BTAC, what is it? Handy that's 6 years old, roughly. At $100, $120, whatever it is at MSRP these days. And people go nuts over, but I think that, overall, for the quality of the product itself, you just want you want it to be elevated, especially in this price point. Is this good? Yes, absolutely. I want it to be exceptionally good, though. I want it to be pushed above and beyond for what this project seems to be aiming for. All that being said, though, $100, it could be so much more. It also could be a little bit cheaper. 3.5, I think, is probably the most accurate for for what this product is right now. So we got a 3. We got a 4. That's a 7. The 3.5 brings us to a 10.5, a 1.5. That's a 12 out of 20. Like I said, I feel like I was a little more critical of this than I overall feel about it. I do still really enjoy this. I have a bit of a soft spot for this rye. I just want it to be. I want it to be a bit bigger than it is. But I also haven't tried the 2024 release comparatively, so I'm gonna do that here in a second for Patreon. But regardless, thank you to Heaven Hill for sending me this sample. I do appreciate it. All right. It's time for a segment that we call Barrel Rings here around the parts of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. It's a segment of the show that is completely listener and viewer driven. That's right. If you are a listener or a viewer of This Is My Bourbon Podcast, you are the one that makes it happen by leaving us a voicemail or calling and text. Wait, no, I said that wrong. Or texting the number 859-428-8253. That's right. You can call and leave a voicemail or text the number 859-428-8253. And I will listen to it or read it out here on the show. And in that case, you will be a part of the show for a moment. And for a brief moment, we are going to be welcoming one shade, one My Daily Bourbon, one Chad on, because he's left us a voicemail. And once again, you can do as well. Call 859-428-8253.
So the voicemail message is pretty weird because Whiskey Mutant's dead to the podcast realm. But I just wanted to say, what's up, Terry? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good. That's kind of it. Picked my dog up from daycare, driving to UPS right now to pick up a package, something. Yeah. Curious about what all this rare character is you can't talk about, and why you keep mentioning it if you can't talk about it. You say things, and then you don't say things. The people want to know, or do they want to know? Or can you tell them? That's all I got. Love you. Bye.
No, I love you too, Chad, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about. The rare cherrier? Rarey cherrier. Am I reading this right? Rare cherry. I don't know. I don't think that's right. Maybe someday that will be clear. But either way, I can't make heads or tails of what he was talking about. But thank you for the call. I hope you had a good drive home. I hope your dog's safe. Can't believe you drove and called. What are you doing? Dude, be safe, please. Can you just, jeez. Well, moving on to a segment known as High Proof Hot Takes, where I tell you about things that have been sticking in my craw over the past week, that have been bugging the crap out of me, that I want to let you know about, that I just I can't get out of my brain, that you need to also hear about. Look, why do we let firework laws? Why do we let people shoot off fireworks for so long in and around the 4th of July in this country? Why? It's like a week before and a week after. Like, we have kids, we have dogs, and they all freak out over it. Let them rest, please. Stop. You have a day to go all out, celebrate this country, and then it's okay. It's okay. We get it. We get it, man. We get it. Like, wear your red, white, and blues. Wear your flags. I understand. I get it. I totally get it. All right? Let us sleep. I don't need to hear your fireworks at 2 a.m. I don't need to hear it at 11 p.m. Just let me sleep. Please. Let my dogs not freak out. They're just... Hey, we actually have a late barrel ring here. This is from Kyle. He said, "Hey, Perry, it's Kyle. Longtime viewer, first-time texter. I wanted to address something that is my high-proof hot take of the week. Perfect timing, actually. My least favorite thing about whiskey right now is the use of chill filtration in most shelfers today. I believe it's stripping large portions of not only flavor but balance away from the whiskey. It feels like the use of chill filtration is solely for presentation on a shelf, which I understand for sub 92 proof, but anything above that proof point in any and all categories of whiskey should avoid chill filtration. I also tend to feel like the alcohol is more prevalent and loud in chill-filtered whiskey. I believe the excitement for high-proof, non-chill-filtered whiskey should shift to high-quality, non-chill-filtered whiskey presented in its best form regardless of proof. I'd love to get your opinion on this one and tell me how wrong I am. Hope you're feeling better, man. Looking forward to seeing you again." Yeah, so I'll work backwards a little bit. Of course, I am feeling a lot better. Thank you for the kind words, and I do look forward to seeing you again soon, Kyle. I don't see so the way that chill filtration is like largely used is to get rid of the cloudiness that comes with whiskey if there are, impurities in whiskeys. But I don't feel like those impurities are anything more than barrel influence. Right, I feel like that's a misnomer in some cases. So I'm very much on Kyle's side here that you don't necessarily need it for anything. I would even go like as high as 100 proof, that you don't really need it for anything lower than 100 proof, because you might wind up with a bottle that looks a little cloudy when you shake it around. Or even if you let it sit. Actually, I take that back. If you let it sit, it might look a little bit cloudy. But the whole point is, It just doesn't seem necessary for anything other than like aesthetic purposes. And I don't have any interest in like chill filtering my whiskey, because I just want the most I want the most accurate representation of what the distiller, the master distiller, the master blender wanted from my from their original, intention. So give me that. Like, I don't think that we particularly need chill filtration these days, unless like your focus is presentation by and large. All that being said, though, is it a fine practice? I mean, sure, but it doesn't like need to be around. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Tips and Bits. It's the segment of the show where I recommend things that I have been watching, reading, listening to, enjoying that I also want you to check out because I think you would enjoy them. Or maybe not. I don't know. Let's start out with the bad so I can get it out of the way. I finally watched the new Captain America movie, Brave New World. Which I thought was pretty boring. I'll be honest with you. Do I love Anthony Mackie? Yes, I do. Do I love Harrison Ford? Absolutely, I do. This movie felt so poorly paced. It felt so... it felt like there was no need for it, other than just to have a Captain America movie because there hadn't been one in a while. And we needed a status quo update after Steve Rogers left the wider MCU because of the ending of Avengers Endgame. And I get that. I totally understand that. But this movie felt so unbalanced that I couldn't enjoy it in large part. And again, like, I think Anthony Mackie does really good things within the MCU. I think he actually like functions really well as Captain America, as Sam Wilson's Captain America, as the Falcon. But it was just such a poorly paced, poorly animated movie, too. I thought the CGI was really bad. It was sloppy and gross and just not good. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't check it out if you don't love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This might be right up your alley. I do love the MCU, but it felt like such a misstep. I haven't seen Thunderbolts yet. It's on my watch list, my immediate watch list, of course. But overall, just not a fun viewing for me personally. Maybe I wasn't in the right headspace either. Maybe I could have, been elsewhere mindfully, I guess. I don't know. Also, this is more the positive side of things. I think that we are all very aware of the heavy rains, the heavy flooding that has occurred in Texas this week. And I know that people are trying to find ways to help out. I have specifically talked about previously this organization, so I wanted to call them out again because they are hurting, and I'm not saying this is the only place that you can help, but if you were looking for some place to help, I wanted to talk about them. Alveus Sanctuary, and I will hopefully, I'm so bad about this and I apologize, but I will hopefully link to their fundraiser, or at least link to their Twitch channel, and maybe particularly Maya's Twitch channel too, in the description below. But they got hit particularly hard by the storms in Texas. this past week. They're an animal sanctuary where they're a nonprofit. Of course, they're not trying to, did I just catch another fly? Did I catch it? Hang on. Oh, no, I didn't. It was on my iPad. Gotcha. They are just trying to rebuild right now. Their main road to get in and out of the sanctuary was completely demolished. I've on the off screen while I've been recording, have had their fundraiser up, just watching people donate to their fundraiser too. They are getting close to $100,000 just for funds to rebuild the road into their sanctuary, and important work, of course. But regardless, there's an insane amount of pain happening across the American South, across Texas, because of these storms. And we send our love. We send so many thoughts and prayers, of course, if that's what you do. But it's been devastating watching the news from all of that. So we're here with you. We raise a glass to you, and we hope you make it through okay in the next few days, in the next few weeks. So be good out there. Be strong out there. If you need anything, please reach out. We'll do our best to support you as a community as well. And I think that about does it for this week's episode of the podcast. Man, been busy. Been a busy week. Ready for things to get back to normal. Not going to lie, I don't know why I'm getting comfy in this particular way. But I guess it's because I'm going to let you know that there are specific ways for you to support the show. One in particular, it's by heading to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. And for as little as $1 a month, you can do so. And get the Discord that a bunch of our folks are a part of. But from $5 and up, you can get bonus content, some other little things. I can't remember everything. I'm so sorry. But patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast, that's the best way to support the show on a monthly basis. You can also follow the show at My Bourbon Pod on all social media platforms. You can send us a question or comment to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. You can also find all of our apparel and merchandise at bourbonshop.threadless.com. We got shirts with the logo on it. We got skateboards. We got stickers. We got friggin' cups, mugs. We got so many things at the Threadless store. What else? We got a P.O. Box. P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky 40522. You can send us, samples, bottles, stuff you want us to review on the podcast or just taste. It's there, the P.O. Box. I'd love for you to send something there. It'd be great. I would really, really appreciate it. You can also leave a voicemail or text message, 859-428-8253, right from your mobile phone. Or a landline, I guess, if you wanted to send a voicemail. That would be fun to hear. Be interesting. That'd be fun. Yeah. 859-428-8253. And I think last but not least, maybe, leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app of choice. and we will read it out. I will read it out here on the podcast. There's nothing new this week, as far as I can tell. But regardless, it's been a fun week. It's been a fun episode, and I appreciate you all. As always, my mic is squeaking and squawking because of this daggum mic stand. I love you all. Thank you so much for supporting. As always, next week, no idea. I've got no clue. These days, it just kind of keeps rolling on by. So, we'll get there. Until then, though, I love you. Thanks for everything. See you next time. Until then, I'm Perry, and this is my Bourbon Podcast.